I'm thrilled to talk with you about partnerships because I really feel like I live and breathe it, and I wouldn't be standing on the stage speaking to you today without the partnerships that I've been able to discover and actually nurture and grow. I started out in a very small town in the middle of Missouri, basically in the middle of nowhere. So my away goal was to get out of this small town, right? I wanted to escape it. And my dream was I wanted to see the world. So after I graduated college, and during college, I started to build my network before I needed it. And what I did was I went to this association called the ICSC, International Council of Shopping Centers. I started going to and auditing conferences and built my network by collecting business cards. And out of me building that network before I needed it, I found my first job. So I got a job in the industry and started kind of building my knowledge, my profile, my experience, and working my way up. Fast forward, I am really not liking my corporate job. And I'm really not getting enough holidays. And I'm really getting a little depressed. So I put it out to my network, and I say, I'm not living my life purpose. I'm not living my big dream. I really need to go abroad, live abroad, work abroad. What if I could, this is my what if, right? What if I could take what I know and go to another country and do it in another country? Because that would fulfill a couple of my big dreams. One, to try to live and work in Europe, right? Specifically London, but really live and work in Europe. And two, do what I was doing, but in a new and different environment. Excites me and scares me, right? So I put it out there. I got lucky. People knew me. I was a KPIer in my industry, right? I was a key person of influence. And I got a job offer to move to London with a Canadian-based real estate company. I was doing what I loved in an environment that was new and challenging. It was great, right? Then another big kind of crossroads happened for me. And that crossroads was I got made redundant. And I was thrilled to have worked with the people and the quality and the professionalism and gained all this experience. And all along while I was doing that, I was still building my network and perfecting my pitch and talking about the industry and why I thought that this North American concept worked great in Europe. And I had done a lot of presentations to a lot of people. And one of the set of people that I had presented to was this group of outdoor billboard people, outdoor advertising agency people. And they said, probably 12 months before this happened, if you ever want to start a business, let us know. We think this is a good concept that would work in London. Well, I thought it would work in the UK too, but I was scared. I thought about my options and I thought, okay, what I could do was take my business plan, because I had it kind of formulated mostly in my mind, and I could go to some banks and try to build some relationships to do that. But what I screwed up on was I wasn't building those relationships before I needed them. So I had no banking connections. I knew my industry, but not outside my industry. So another lesson is make sure you're growing your contacts, not just in your primary industry, but where you're going to need it in the future to grow your business. And that's a little bit of anticipation. That's a little bit of dreaming and figuring out, where am I going to need partnerships? Where's the strategic partnerships I'm going to need outside my current circle? Now, I did have these set of partners that came knocking again on my door and said, we're still here, we still love to do this business with you. And that's when I thought, I'm going to miss 100% of the shots I don't take. If I don't try to do this and don't try to stay in London, I will regret it for the rest of my life. So I got to do it. So I moved out of my South Kent flat, moved into a garden basement flat that I could afford, took no salary, and started the business. Best thing I ever did. So this is 2001. I get the business started, and we're growing it in the UK, and we're hiring people, and we go from 4 to 14 people in 2 years. We won the Small Firm of the Year award, which was very exciting. And I'm doing presentations the whole time because there's a lot of education involved in niche. And I went in to do this presentation on a very sunny summer day. And there was a Spaniard, a Spanish guy from Spain. There was a Swedish guy from Scandinavia. There was a German guy from Germany. And then there was a New Yorker from Russia. This is a New Yorker guy named Tony, right? And Tony was living and working in Russia doing neon signage and outdoor signs. And so I did the presentation, I explained the concept, I explained the industry, I explained what we were doing in the UK, and we were trying to build a pan-European deal then too. I'd always had aspirations not just have a business in the UK, but also somewhere in Europe. Again, back to that line intention that helped me set my vision of my dream. But what I want to share with you about this portion of my journey is that 5 years after that meeting with all those guys in that room, I got a phone call, right? Who do you think it was? The American from Russia. It was Tony. He called me and he said, Julia, he said, I never forget the day that you presented your business and your concept to us. And I have thought about it in the back of my mind for 5 years. And he said, I think now's the right time for us to do your company in Russia. But I had a board of directors at that point. So I had this board meeting every month, and I went to my chairman, and I said, we've got this great opportunity, and I have a gut feeling this is the right thing to do. And he said, you are crazy. We can't put money to Russia. It'll go right out the back door. We'll never see it. They'll take us. So I said, get on the plane, go see Tony, look at the opportunity, let's talk about it. So here's where sometimes the partnership you do, you have to format in a different or unique way, right? So our partnership we ended up doing was, he agreed, he went and saw it and said, it's great, but we cannot invest sums of our UK cash into Russia. The other thing I try to do is, whenever I realize I have a weakness, I try to resource it in my team. So if I'm not good at it, I find somebody else who's good at it and bring them in. And this guy was excellent at structuring debt and deals and finance, which I'm not good at all. And he said, let's do a licensed partnership with them. And we ended up doing a 25-year deal. What I want you to think about is, how many people do you know that could be a potential partner? So what I want to leave you with this afternoon is, one, my lessons that I've learned, which are do something that excites and scares you, right? You're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so take the risk. Grow your network before you need it. I've also, throughout my life, dreamt big.